Hello everyone, this is Life with Hope. Welcome, thank you for being here. So if some of you have been keeping up with the previous episodes, I believe this should be about the fifth one or sixth one. I'm sorry, my brain's just a little bit fuzzy today. What I've been talking about in the last several episodes has just been about like daily habits and kind of seeing where I am, how on track or off track I feel with those things. So I'm kind of just doing my own little personal mental check-in with that today instead of sharing that with you and providing you with those updates. So if you've been following along, I hope you're able to do the same for yourself if you've been doing these kind of things, whether similar daily habits or you created your own. I'd like for you to just do a little reflection and go over this last week for yourself and see how that's all been. And then I will hopefully most likely get back to you with more updates maybe in the upcoming weeks. However, this time around and in this particular episode, it's going to be very different from any of them in the past. Just have had a lot going on lately and mentally, emotionally. And so I really admire, there's a certain person that I listen to or I watch on Instagram who her name's like Josie, I believe, like Josie B. I can't remember the last name, but she's just so great. She just so many different topics and just with this poetry of life and situations she's gone through, situations she hasn't gone through, and just spoken about other people, and it's amazing, and I am just so in awe of her. And I've always just had a deep connection and feeling towards words and poems and quotes and expressing yourself. And so with all that's kind of been going on with myself, I created a poem or spoken word or whatever it is categorized as, I'm not too sure. But I just kind of wanted to share that because it's just what's been at the forefront, and I just want these words to be out there for others to see and to hear. And so it is called it is called You Don't Know. I'll probably end this video once I've finished it, just because that's all we're going to focus on for today's episode, and that's all I want to really share, is just this little bit of poetry that I wrote. And yeah, here's some words by Hope. It's, like I said already, it's called You Don't Know. And sorry, I just keep interrupting, but sorry that I'm like looking down and staring, because obviously I didn't memorize this, I just wrote it, and so I'm just gonna be staring and flipping through the pages as I go. Okay, now I'm ready. You don't know. You don't know what it's like to wake up and no longer be the person you've always been, to see the world with a blurry lens, to wake up, to stay up, to be kept up, swaying side to side, to stay home, to be home every day and every night. You don't know what it's like to not be able to work, to wanting to work, to being stuck, to being a prisoner of your own home, but you're not a prisoner, and this isn't a prison, and yes, it is home. But you don't know what it's like to be at home, but to not feel at home. You don't know what it's like to be spinning, to be bouncing, to be hurting, to be weak, to be scared. You don't know what it's like to be sitting here all day, all night, every night, to be kept up because a monster inside won't allow for sleep. It just doesn't want to leave. It wants to fight the body inside. It wants to fight the body outside. It wants to take and drain, leaving behind nothing but pain. You don't know what it's like to fight and to lose, to fight harder, to lose even more. What is this fight even for? You just try and try and try again, but then there it is, that same fight that never comes to an end. You don't know what it's like to stare at a window, to stare at the light, to want the sun, to crave the sun, to want the wind, to crave the fresh air. You don't know what it's like to just stare and stare and stare. All you want is just life, the real life, the life you've always known, the life that had meaning, the life that had answers, not this kind of life, not the one that exists in these four walls, not the one where the floor drops beneath the surface, not the one that is so exhausting, not this kind of life. You don't know what it's like to be a mom, but to not be, to be a wife, but to not be, to be a friend, but to not be. You don't know what it's like to just sit and stare and go absolutely nowhere. You don't know what it's like. You don't get it. And I don't either, because I don't know what it's like. Okay, thank you for listening. I'll be back next week.